All right. Hey, good morning, folks. We are going to... It goes like that. It goes like that. Give me a hot second here to get my stuff arranged here. We are going to be flying casual today, doing prep work for the Martial Powers playtest that we're going to be running today in about 3 hours. I'm checking my signal here real quick, and it's a quiet stream, not a big shout out today to anybody, but let's see here. Just doing a check through here real quick, and bump, burp. There we go. Martial Powers, nice and quiet. There's that. There's that. All right, if you happen to catch the stream and you want to stick around and you think stuff that we're talking about today is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Hey, new subscribers, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here is the Martial Power playtest document that we are working on currently. And here is a slew of books that I've already created that you can check out on the DMsGuild. Particular attention to the Magic the Gathering 5-color mana spell point variant rule system here that's on the DMsGuild. We are right now working on the Martial Powers playtest, which is basically converting all the martial characters into half-casters using the monks short rest, or the monks / warlocks short rest mana mechanic of 1 point per level regained on a short rest. With the stack of powers that you can pick and prepare, swapping 1 per day or all of them when you gain a level. And let's see, here is our playtest environment. Let's make sure we're on the right. Where are my dudes at? Hold on. There we go. Let's take this and drag it all the way back to here. So we're not looking at secrets in the background while I mess around with the characters. So, okay, great. So from last week, the major playtest of concern, the major concern that we have right now in the playtest, which we're going to explore and mess around with right now, is first off, there's like 100 some odd powers, like spell-like effects that you spend mana on. 1 point per rank. There's 4 ranks of power. Ranks are like levels, and it's a half-casting progression, so 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. You can prepare powers, but powers also include fighting styles and weapon masteries. So you have, it also includes feats, but if you prepare a feat, you don't gain any stats from that feat, but you also don't have any prerequisites. So you can take pretty much anything that you want at level 1, but you're not going to get any stat gains from it. So when we were here last time and we were building characters, our last prep was to create characters that don't have to spend any mana to be able to utilize their powers. They had less powers available to them, but the powers that they had, the effective cost of it became 0. So they could spam out powers much like you could spam out slasher feat stuff, or like the poisoner feat stuff. It had basically, you basically made first level or first rank powers basically became like feats, but you had to prepare them twice. Like you'd pick one and then you'd pick it again to make it a feat instead of a power. And the concern that is among the crew right now is being able to do that without any kind of limitations, just open-ended. Like if you want to have half the powers that somebody else would, as long as they're first rank, they're effectively free. Second rank powers cost 2 mana. So if you picked it twice, it would reduce the cost from 2 to 1. If a third rank power costing 3 mana a pop, you don't get access to it until 9th level. If you selected that power twice, it would drop from 3 to 2 mana. So there's a there's a decreasing rate of return by selecting the efficient power option to lessen the cost. But we're only 4th level right now, so we only have access to first rank powers. So the concern is the action economy, the damage, and the residual benefits that we got from what the efficient power gave us access to be able to spam basically infinitely. Is it too good? So today's playtest, we're going to take away that option so that we always have to pay for powers that we use to see if, well, does it feel bad compared to having the free options felt too good. So this could potentially be feeling bad. Hey, Steve, how you doing? So we're going to continue messing around with our character options here. We're going to go into the character sheets here. And so I'm just going to be adjusting characters, basically, is what we're doing right now to withdraw that option from the board. And so I'm thinking the team is right that unrestricted access to being able to do that is probably overtuned. So then it's a matter of how do we create limits on that system. And I've put a couple ideas out on my Discord server, but I'm going to withhold any kind of, you got to test these things. So I'm not going to make a decree of, well, you guys are, no one's right yet. We're feeling it out. So it's the same level, same characters, but instead of having efficient unlimited power or having unlimited use of those powers, we're going to put restraints on it. So let's see. This character sheet is blank, so that's not a good one to use. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we are. Our simple characters. So simple fighter, simple rogue. Let's go grab our simple fighter here. This is a human battle master using the Azorius Senate background. And let's see. What are the free? This guy's got a shitload of skills. That's really cool. Let's see. Powers. Okay, so here we see that quick investigation has been made free. So we're going to release that. But we get quick investigation for free for the Azorius Senate. So let's go and look at our character sheet here. I'm going to pull the Roll20 board out so that sits separately. What's going on? Hey, Mr. Fantastic. The playtest document, my friend, is right here under Marshall Powers playtest document. It's read-only unless you're participating in the playtest. Then they have read access to be able to cut and paste stuff. But for the rest of us plebes, it's read only. So I'm going to let's kick down to Control F, and let's go with Azorius. Two instances of Azorius background. Okay, great. So. Third rank, Renown is the point system that is used in the Ravnica system to indicate how devoted you are to the guild that you are, that is your background. So the number of Renown points that we have in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, there's only 4 ranks of Renown. Which is consistent with the fill. We have 5 ranks that we've blown it out. So we had to expand on the. Basically had to retool the benefits that we got from the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, including as well as adding a bastion at 15 renown. But it's basically renown. Your level times your renown. Your level times 3 equals the amount of renown that you should have to gain a new rank inside of the guild. Which this in the Ravnica book, renown caps at 50 plus. We put it at 51 plus, puts you at 17, roughly at 17th level. So it actually scales out the same as listed in the Ravnica book, except that we've parsed it into into a scale of 5 to coincide with proficiency bonus gains, as opposed to 4, which is roughly equal to tier separations, which is kind of arbitrary. Will this have spoilers? No, we're not going to see any. We're not going to see any adventure spoilers today. The stuff in the hey Fox, the stuff that's in the background is the surface map that is the entry level map that you guys are already familiar with. So there'll be no spoilers. I am looking forward to finishing this play test when we get to level 10, because that probably means we're going to have 20 zones overall that the team will have had an opportunity to traverse through and fight monsters and shit. But I'll be able to basically extract all those maps as a separate mega dungeon and be able to talk about it and drop it on DMsGuild and stuff like that. So, Bodvar! All right, so I'm going to first let's fix the. I'm going to fix the. Wait a second. Since we're here, if we're going to look at Bodvar, Fox, I know you were asking specifically. Fox is one of our playtesters. For those that don't know, we're looking at Bodvar Barbarian. There you go. So let's edit this guy. If I think you were asking about assistance on this, so let's look at what we have so far as powers are concerned. So we'll go to the Gruul list here. I'm going to be on till I'll be on for an hour. And then I'm going to drop offline, and I'll still be flying casual on the Discord server. We don't actually, it's 7 o'clock here in Seattle. We're going to go till 8 o'clock here on stream. And then I'm going to have basically an hour and a half before game starts so I can do DM prep without spoilers. So is it based in IB 5? Oh, is it based in 5e, or are we trying 5.5? This is always 5.5. So rather, we're using the 5.5 game system, the weapon masteries, as well as the revised feats and the revised class, the new class scaffold, and then that 5.5 is modified by the actual martial power system that we're using. Let's go find Gruul real quick. Yo. Hey, Francois. Let's see, Gruul. Okay, great. So we don't have a bunch of stuff for Gruul right now, but we don't need to. We're only 4th level, so this is our cap. So Goading Strike and Breath of Life are two powers that are the two bonus powers that all Gruul characters get. Just like in the Guildmaster's Guide, all Gruul spellcasters get bonus spells. But the problem with 5.5 is that there's so much stuff that casters get and martials don't. It's called the martial caster divide. It's also called the geometric versus exponential growth problem, where every level spellcasters get more spells on an expanding list that they get to continuously choose and change as they go from day to day, while all the martial characters get a feat every 4th level, and that's the only real decision that they get to make. So by adding an alternate magic system to all the characters, and in this case the martial characters, everyone has scaling mana, although we scale at a different rate than full casters, but we also have that breadth of options that we can swap on a daily basis. In the playtest, we can switch our characters at will, but in a live campaign, you only switch 1 power per day. So if a playtester is jumping in, it's like, I want to build a new character, or I want to try these ideas instead, you should absolutely yank apart your character and pull it back together and build it any way that you want for the sake of the playtesting to see what you can find to break. But in a live campaign, it would be every long rest you can swap 1 power that you have, including the feats that you've prepared. So you can adapt your character not as quickly as like, say, a wizard, cleric, or druid can, but this is also like the bard, the sorcerer, the warlock. They can swap 1 spell per day as well, and then swap all powers when you gain a level. So we're going to go down and look at the powers that Gruul gets real quick, just to familiarize ourselves with that one. Breath of Life is an exploit. Exploits modify actions you take or things that you do. So Breath of Life here is when you make an ability check to stabilize a dying creature, you automatically succeed, and so you spend 1 point of mana when you make an ability check to stabilize a dying creature. As a result of spending that point of mana, you automatically succeed. And the target gains a number of hit points equal to the result of 1 power die roll. And the power die that we roll at the 1st level that we're at, we start with a D6, then it becomes a D8 at 9th level, and then a D10 at 17th level. Though, like in the case of the Battle Master, which is what we're built. No, the Barbarian doesn't have that benefit, but the Barbarian can spend hit dice instead of mana, and when you do, you don't roll a D6, you roll a D12. So if a Barbarian were to use Breath of Life to stabilize a character, and you if you pop a hit die, you don't get any hit points from that, but the character that you stabilize gets D12 hit points. If at higher levels, like at 5th level, you'll have 2nd rank, which means you can spend 2 mana at a time. So the Barbarian would be able to spend 2 hit dice to restore 2d12 hit points. So we're 4th level right now. There's going to be a significant bump in power at 5th level. So the concern about the efficient power feat being unstable or being overtuned at 4th level might actually disappear altogether at 5th level. We don't know yet. That's why we're testing. So this is why we're professionals, because we test things to make sure that we don't put out ideas half baked. I've been cooking this thing for well over a year, and this is our 3rd playtest, running at different levels. So efficient power, it would have been. Let's see, Breath of Life. Oh, yep, Breath of Life is not. We did not make free. We have. Let's see. In here we have. We'll go through all these just one by one. Breath of Life is something that we get for free from the Gruul background. I'm going to add this here like that. And then Goading Strike. Let's go look at Goading Strike. So you don't really have to use Breath of Life a lot unless your character keeps dropping. Or rather, if characters keep dropping, the barbarian ironically is the medic in that situation. If no one else is willing to take the action, the barbarian can save your life. Let's look at Goading Strike. Goading Strike, it costs 1 mana to use, and strikes work when you hit somebody. If you hit, whether it's your turn or reaction, if you make an attack with a melee weapon and you hit, you can choose to spend mana to do an effect. And in this case, Goading Strike is your weapon damage increases by 1 power die, which is a d6. And which is per mana channeled. At 4th level, we can only channel 1 mana, so it'd be an extra plus d6. And the creature you strike has disadvantage on any attack made that doesn't target you. So it's, in that sense, it's like what is it? The spell Compelled Duel. Right, Compelled Duel forces gives you disadvantage if you don't attack the character. The effect ends if it can no longer see you or when it successfully hits you. So it has potentially a very limited lifetime. The creature can attempt to end the effect early by succeeding in an intelligence saving throw at the end of each of its turns. So this could be very short lasting. But it also, if like you're hitting people at range with this, then they have to, or when it succeeds and successfully hits you with an attack. If you're playing keep away with it, like if you're mounted or just using mobility to keep away, then the Goading Strike can become more effective. They'll have to use their intelligence. And if you're hitting dumb creatures, if you're goading dumb creatures, chances of them failing the intelligence saving throw is significantly higher. A very intelligent monster is not going to fall for this for long. We have an upgraded version of it, which clicks in later at 9th level. There's Provoking Strike, which it damns you harder. Let's see. The creature must use its actions to attack you or target you with spell and effects until it can no longer see you or you are incapacitated. The creature can attempt to end the effect by succeeding a Wisdom saving throw at the end of it, because it's compelled and it's psychic attack. So it's a Wisdom saving throw to end each of its turns. Creatures that are immune to charm save with advantage but aren't immune to the effect. So this forces you to only attack the provoking character, while Goading Strike only encourages them to attack you and is more easily shaken off. So this costs a point. It does an extra d6 of damage, so your guaranteed value from the strike, the extra point of mana, is extra damage that you're dealing, and the kicker effect is just is probably why you're doing it, and it's going to last at least their turn. If they can hit you, if they have the opportunity to even hit you, then they could end it right away by hitting you, but they're at disadvantage to attack. Otherwise, it lasts until the end of their turn. So all these effects happen at the end of their turn, so you at least get 1 round of value out of everything that you do here. So the extra damage is worth the point. And then the kicker effect lasting at least 1 round. Those two together makes it definitely worth the 1 point that you would spend. And as you rank up, the power doesn't increase in power, but it does deal more damage as you scale up. Hey, questions? What's up? How did you come to say Mali instead of melee? We're from the same place. I grew up in Missouri, and in Missouri, you say things a bit different from the rest of the world. So Malay, sure, whatever. In Missouri, it's Malay. Because there's just enough of a Creole bend at the back end of our language to make all our noun, all of our vowels skew wrong. So currently, the efficient power makes goading strike the way. So sorry, just to summarize, the way that efficient power works, and you can see we currently have it scratched off, but still present because we're going to end up modifying it. So the way that it works is choose a power, and when you use that power, you automatically gain a point of mana to spend on that power. Using the power generates mana for the power. That's how the mechanic basically works. I want to use Goading Strike. Well, here's a free point of mana to spend on Goading Strike. Well, for every point of mana I spend, I get an extra D6. So, and my cap is 1 mana. So I give you a point of mana, hitting your cap at 4th level of 1 mana. And that 1 mana gives you the D6 and triggers the goad. So that's how the mechanics there work. We have alternate ways of approaching this, but we want to test it to make sure everything feels good. But basically, you get the extra D6 and the goading effect, which is technically not more powerful than a feat would be. Feats will do like an extra die of damage and have an effect, for instance. So this isn't real. If you were to make this free to use as a feat, it's not unreasonable to have it as a feat. What could be unreasonable is how often your characters can lean into. What is this? You can get out of here. That was weird. Okay, so that was Goading Strike and Breath of Life. So we're going to remove the efficient power for Goading Strike because that's the playtest. We're going to make this something that this is something that we're opening up that we can make. We can replace with something either like a weapon mastery, a feat, a damage type. Or another power that requires mana. Let's look at bonus attack, which was the other major concern that we're looking at being potentially too efficient. So let's go look at what the the maneuver man one. The maneuver is called bonus attack. So bonus attack. It costs 1 mana to use this. Maneuvers can be used as a bonus action or as a standard action that replaces attacks. So you could technically use bonus attack twice in the same turn, once as your attack action and once as your bonus action, but it'll cost you a point of mana each time. If we make it efficient, it's free to use. And so you can make a weapon attack. So at first level, if this was free to use, at first level, it doesn't make a difference. At 5th level, it sucks, because at 5th level, a fighter has 2 attacks as a standard action, and if I were to channel this maneuver as a action, then I wouldn't be able to make my 2 attacks. All it does is give me an attack, but it has this kicker effect, which is if I spend an additional point of mana, this attack becomes with advantage. It's great for rogues, but rogues also have steady aim, which they would spend a bonus action to have advantage on an attack. So they'd spend their bonus action to gain advantage, and then they would use their attack to make their sneak attack, which is why they would do that as a rogue. With this, it works that if you have to pay a point of mana to gain the bonus attack, then as your bonus action, bam, you get a bonus attack. And then you could spend another point of mana to have a kicker effect of making that advantage. So a rogue could attack with their normal attack, and then could also use a bonus attack for a point of mana, and then spend another point of mana to make that with advantage. So you could potentially have a rogue at first level could potentially have 2 attacks per round, but you could also already do that with a longsword Vex, and then with your offhand, you've got your dagger, which would then have advantage to attack. And if you aren't using the Nick property, then you would be using your bonus attack for that. But the Nick property would allow you to use Vex, Nick for free. And then you have your bonus, you would have, a rogue normally wouldn't have a bonus attack open, so you'd spend a point of mana, and now you get your 3rd attack, and it costs you a point. Since you've already made your sneak attack off of the longsword Vex or the short sword Vex, it doesn't matter anymore that you would need advantage, because unless you want advantage, you don't have a second sneak attack during your own turn. But the Vex property, what you might want to do instead is use the bonus action with your longsword to set up Vex again. So if during not your turn, the target that you vexed if they do something that would provoke an opportunity attack, then you could get a sneak attack on them. So it is worth the point. But if you're using a weapon that grants you advantage already, this kicker cost is completely unnecessary. So this is another instance of, I don't think this is overtuned to make this, like, if you have to pay for this twice to make it free, because there's already so much action economy. But we're not playing a rogue, we're playing a barbarian. So giving the barbarian a free, basically giving you an infinite free bonus attack is the concern. Is it too efficient to use that? So we're going to remove the efficient power for that and make this something that you have to pay. We're going to replace it with something else, potentially a feat. And then we also have Burke. What? The Berserker gets Retaliate for free. That's right. So the Retaliate is a reaction. And let's go look at Retaliate. Retaliate is as a reaction to taking damage from an attack. You make a weapon attack against the attacker if it's within reach of your weapon. And this is 1 point cost as a reaction. The trigger for the reaction is you make a weapon attack against. Hold on, I need to double check real quick. What the I sense stranger danger. Hold on. Berserker. Frenzy. If you hit when you're using reckless attack while you rage is active, you deal 1 extra power die of damage. This can be added to any mana spent to channel a strike power. So if you hit when using reckless attack while your rage is active, you deal 1 extra power die of damage. So you have to be raging. You have to have give yourself advantage to hit and disadvantage, and everyone else gets advantage to hit you. And if you do that, you roll an extra d6 on your damage. Easy enough. We get Dire Impact and Retaliate. So again, looking at Retaliate. Hopefully I'm not rambling on too much. I'm just kind of running through these things. As a reaction to taking damage from an attack, you make a weapon attack against the attacker. So if you get hit, you can hit them back. It'll cost you a point of mana. We made it free. Again, that's something I don't think is broken because you only get 1 reaction. And this is allowing you to basically retaliate. You hit me, I get to hit you in exchange. That's fair, right? But for the testing, we're removing the efficient power. So we'll free that up to use something else. And Dire Impact isn't made efficient. Those are the only 1, 2, 3. We only had 3 efficient powers in the stack. But just to finish the set, let's go down and look at the sustained powers. So a sustained power is something that you spend mana to turn on. You basically tap mana. And at first rank, at level 4, we only have 1 point of mana, so you can only sustain 1 first rank power. And Dire Impact specifically is while you are sustaining this power, you can add 1 plus your max rank of power to your weapon damage rolls. So at first rank, that's a +2 bonus to your damage, which isn't crazy. That's what your rage does currently. In addition, when you roll 1 or more power dice to deal damage, and so like say we're looking at a d6 or potentially a d12 from the barbarian, any power die that rolls below your max rank of power increases the result of that roll to equal your max rank of power. So at 4th level, we only have 1 rank of power, which means that if we rolled below a 1, it would be automatically a 1. But since you can't roll less than 1 on a die, that's kind of irrelevant. But by the time we get to, like, say, 9th level, and we're throwing d8s, 9th level, we have 3 ranks of power. So this actually becomes really effective. This would be a +4 to damage to all attacks. And when we roll power dice to deal damage, the minimum that we would roll is a 3 because of 3rd rank. So by 9th level, this is going to actually be pretty tasty. But for now, it's going to cost 1 point of mana to turn on, which means that if you have multiple sustained powers, this is the only one that you can use. So you're kind of like, this one's being built into the Berserker because Berserker. But there's so many other things that you could just choose to take, but you can only use them 1 at a time. And they cost 1 mana to turn on. And when you turn one on, you can drop things for free. So you can choose to just drop this when you turn another one on just to swap it out. And since we have 3 powers that are freed up for every 10 damage you deal, no, I do not like that. We already have means of generating free mana, and I don't need to tap on more of it. And the idea of generating free mana for 10 points, it's too mechanically complicated. The system's already complicated enough, but I appreciate the suggestion. Let's see. Let's go back up and look at efficient power real quick, because this is a thing that we have access to, which is a darling of mine, and it doesn't feel like it's broken yet, but we'll see if it is. I've play tested this from first to seventh levels so far, and it hasn't broken yet. But if you don't move, empowered actions allows you to swap actions for free mana during your turn. So if you don't move, you gain a free point of mana. So if you're in position and you like where you're at, you can decide not to move and then generate a free point of mana to use during your turn. If you don't need your bonus action for some reason, depending on what level you are, you gain free mana as well, and it scales. So at first level, it's 1 point. 9th level, you get 2 points. And 17th level, you get 3 points. And then when you have attacks during the attack action, like a 5th level fighter, for instance, has 2 attacks. If I sacrifice both of those attacks, I'd gain 2 free points of mana that I could spend during my turn. So in that instance, like if I spent my movement and at first level, if I spent my movement, that's 1 point. If I spent my bonus action, that's 1 point. And if I spend my only attack, I've generated 3 points of mana that turn, but I don't have anything really to spend it on unless I have like an object interaction. We have those. So you could technically still spend the mana. You just can't take an action, bonus action, or move during your turn. Just real quick, just to look at that because it's fun, for lack of a better reason. Let's see. Here's our barbarian. Here's our mana. Here, let's go down into. These are going to be exploits. So just real quick, Swift tools. When a tool or equipment that you can hold in one hand would normally require an action or a bonus action to utilize, such as thieves' tools or consuming a potion, you can do so as an object interaction instead, because you get a free object interaction each turn. So if we pop this for 1 point of mana, we've given up our action, we've given up our bonus action, and we've given up our movement. We can't do anything, right? Well, we have an object interaction. So if you pop a point of mana, that's 1. And so now we can swift tools. And then on top of that, we have, let's see, bop, bop. Bop, bop. That's an exploit, so we can use that. And let's see. We can make it subtle, which is when you channel a power, there's no visual evidence that you are the source of that power. So if you wanted to spend an extra point, you go with subtle channeling if you picked it up. So there's no visual tell that you're using power when you do so. That still leaves us with a point of mana, and there's nothing else we could use that point for. So we got a little bit of efficiency out of it. When you hold a magic item that requires attunement, you are considered attuned until you let go of it. So you could also use swift attunement if you're holding an object. So like you could theoretically spend 3 mana, but there's so little that you can spend your mana on after giving up your action economy that it's probably not going to be a good decision. But it's theoretically possible. I just wanted to explore that thought space. Let's see. Okay, great. So we have 3 powers we have opened up. We're building a berserker. Let's see. Was there Fox? I know this is the character that you're playing. You were asking about this specifically. Let's see. Are there powers that generate mana as I feel will be point starved, as he can burn through 7 points in 2 rounds? Yeah, you could very easily burn through 7 points. Yeah, that's the efficient power thing. So did that make sense? That you can, like, once you're in position, you can stand still and you can you gain mana to use that way. If you don't need your bonus action. So basically, you're probably going to want to use your attacks all the time. So when you're making an attack, you can give up your bonus action to generate a free point of mana to like goad for free. But the things that you have right now, the only things that you really have to spend mana on is Breath of Life if somebody drops, Goading Strike, which is a damage source that you can generate mana for free with, the bonus attack, if you need an extra attack, you can sacrifice it. Like if you're in position, you made your attack and you're still in position to be able to hit something, you could burn your movement. You could sacrifice your movement to generate a point of mana that you could then use with your bonus attack to get the second attack in. But again, because you're playing a Minotaur, if you move 20 feet, you can use your bonus action to goad somebody with your horns. But this lets you do it while you're adjacent to them. So does that make sense? Yeah, cool. And then there's Retaliate, which is a reaction, which does cost a point of mana. And so that's something you're going to have to choose to do. And you only get 7 of those. You're right. You only have 7 mana. No, you only have, technically, thank you, timer. Again, technically, at 4th level, we technically only have 4 mana. You have a mana crystal, an uncommon magic item that gives you an extra 3 points of mana whenever you finish a long rest. So I believe you have 7 mana, but normally you would only have 4. So I've given you magic items that are scattered throughout the mega dungeon. Some of the items that I've been littering on the ground are basically like these mana stones that you can attune to, so you can have more mana to juice through and play with. So yeah, you should be concerned that you're going to quickly run out of mana. So using your action economy to sacrifice most likely movement is going to allow you to continue to squeeze out a point of mana. So yeah, normally you would only have 4. So, but that's a monk. A 4th level monk only has 4 mana, and a monk would do whatever a monk would normally do in the player's handbook with that same constraint of 4 mana. A barbarian, again, you can sacrifice your hit dice to gain each hit die that you sacrifice is a point of mana, but now you can't heal with that, so that's a risk reward as well. So that Eep is where that's exactly where the idea of generating mana or the efficient power came from. It's like you don't have a lot, and most of these things at 1st level are essentially just are not much better than a cantrip, not much better than a feat. So there's a lot of advantage of being there's good reason to have a way to make a 1st rank power free, because if you want to keep juicing it up at higher levels, it's still going to cost you mana. But the team's request is let's see how this. Hold on, I have to fix my board. Okay, there we go. Sorry. There we go. But the request was, let's see how this feels if we get rid of it. So I suspect we're going to want to have some way to have efficient power in the game to be able to squeeze out that efficiency at low levels when it's really nice to have it. Because by the time you get to 5th level, you're going to have more juice available to you. With 2, like for example, at 5th level when you have 2 attacks, you can sacrifice one of those attacks to still have your bonus action and attack and your movement. So you can sacrifice 1 attack and your movement if you're in position to generate 2 points of mana for free to be able to use on your bonus action and the attack that you kept. So it's a little complicated. It's more how do you say? It's more complex than what normal 5e is, but once you understand how the mechanics work, it's actually pretty intuitive because you're swapping actions for mana. It's just you got to know your character, just like everything else. But we have 3 things that are open. So if you're concerned about spending more mana, maybe we should just stack up on some feats. Since you're here, Fox, and we're talking, you are welcome. Like if there's something that you thought was tasty, I can just add it to the sheet. But since we were concerned about spending mana, having the mana available to do what you want with, it seems intuitive that we would have additional feats added onto your character. Or if there's additional combat masteries that you want, let's look at what you actually have left. So you have the Savage Attacker feat, which is once per turn, when you hit a target with a weapon, you can roll the weapon's damage dice twice and use either roll against the target, which would include power. So if you spend a point of mana, then or like the Berserker automatically adds a d6 to their damage. So when you use Savage Attacker, you can reroll your weapon damage and the free power die that you get for extra Berserker damage. And then if you goaded, that would be another die of damage that you'll spend. You could roll all those dice again and use either roll against the target. Now you have the Grappling Mastery, which is when you hit with a weapon, whether it's a natural weapon, your horns, your fists, or a weapon that you're wielding. As long as it's melee, the target makes a strength or dexterity save, and if they fail, they're grappled. And then you have the Push Mastery, which is when you hit a target that's size large or smaller, you can push them 10 feet away. So those are the 3 masteries that you have, which are and then whatever weapon you're using, like Battle Axe, I think has cleave. Then you would also be able to use cleave. So never mind. I don't know what's in 5.5. That's fair. Let's see. I just want to make sure. That only gives me 1 point. You will still burn 3 around. Well, you don't have to spend 3 around. See, because like a normal 5e character doesn't have any of these options. They have their feats, sure, and there's weapon masteries, which is its own thing, but all these powers are things that a barbarian would normally not have at all. So it's not a matter of I can burn through my mana super fast. It's these are all things that I can choose to do, or I could go a short rest without doing any of it. So it's a matter of how much do you want to lean into using powers? How much do you need to lean into powers to be able to do these things? For the first 4 levels, you're probably going to be outpacing what the full casters are, which is not unusual. That's how D&D used to work. The martial characters used to be stronger than the casters, but by around level 5, the casters catch up to and start to surpass the martials. This is kind of in that same sense of dealing out damage, that you can pump out damage a lot more, damage more quickly and more consistently, but the casters catch up to that and then start to outnova the characters by level 7. But by level 7, your characters can have enough action economy going inside that they can keep up with the full casters. And then by the time you get to level 9, the full casters are definitely able to outscale damage and AoE what the marshals can do, but they can only do it a couple times. And then the full casters are cash because they can't generate mana. They don't have action economy to sacrifice to be able to sustain their effects. So full casters can Nova and deal AoE and throw a bunch of mana at a problem to try to eliminate it quickly, while martial characters can either Nova very short, like do like 1 or 2 Nova bursts, or use action economy just to squeeze out a little bit extra power every turn by sacrificing some of their movement or other action economy. So if you just want me to riff and build this for you, I can. If you have any suggestions that you want me to add in, since I'm inside the character sheet, we can do that as well. But if we were to go with, if you were missing anything, let's see. That's those. Okay, grapple, push, maybe topple. Hold on, let's go up and look at what weapon you're using. Topple's not a bad option. And again, you can switch these every time you play test. But yeah, Battle Axe comes with topple, so that one's for free. So you don't need to pick up topple because you automatically have it because you're proficient with that weapon. These masteries are things that you can just do with a weapon that you're proficient with. Because you've prepared them, you can just do them with any weapon. So that leaves us, so yeah, feats is probably the best place for us to go right now. So, let's see. What is you've got an axe. So slasher is probably a good thing to take. Let's look up slasher real quick. Slasher. Here we go. And we'll cutsy patesy. We don't gain the ability score increase because we're preparing it. Slasher. Hamstring equals once per turn when you hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, which is Battle Axe. You can reduce the speed of that creature by 10 feet until the start of the next turn. So that's a slow effect. Enhanced critical. equals. When you score a critical hit that deals slashing damage to a creature, it has disadvantage on attack rolls until the start of their next turn. That's a feat. That's effectively goad without extra damage, but it's also only on a critical hit. So fun balance there. And since we're leaning into slasher, you know what might not be a bad idea is taking modified damage. The other thing that you can spend powers on is damage. Let's call it alternate damage as powers. So at first rank, these are all the types of damage that you can choose to do. Like for instance, you have horns that deal piercing damage, but if we take this power, you can do slashing damage. I don't know about you, but if you've taken a piercing weapon like a punch dagger or a rapier, and you pull on a target, you're basically slashing it open. The slash of Zorro, for instance, is classic on that. Sure, it's only fabric or skin, but it's skin, it's paper thin. So if we take slashing as a damage type, slashing damage. Any weapon attack can deal slashing damage instead. There. So like your fists, from like the monk's perspective, you can use like your fingernails drilling into claws. You can now do slashing damage with that. That's the power that you're instilling into your character. So if you're going to take the slasher feat, having slashing damage is cool. So you can just default everything to slashing damage. So you can always benefit from the slasher feat on everything that you do. So you can always slow things. That's useful. And then if you score a critical hit, it has disadvantage on attack rolls. So that's not bad. That's 1, 2, 3, and now we only have one other thing that we need to pick up. So let's see if there's another feat. That seems fun for this Minotaur to take. Let's see. Blind fighting, maybe. Defense. Defense might not be bad. Let's look at your armor class real quick. Armor class is 17. That's not bad. But let's take a look at defense. Oh, you want cleave? Okay. Cleave it is. Mastery equals cleave. Yeah, cleave. I hear you. So let's check out the cleave mastery. And if you hit a creature with a melee attack roll using this weapon, you can make a melee attack roll with the weapon against a second creature within 5 feet of the first that is also within your reach. On a hit, the second creature takes the weapon's damage, but don't add your ability modifier to that damage unless the modifier is negative. You can make this extra attack only once per turn, and the second attack cannot use a mastery or a strike power. These masteries are considered cantrips in comparison to a strike. They're technically, these are zero-cost strike powers. They don't deal any extra damage, but they cause an effect. So when you choose to use cleave, that second attack that you're making is the cantrip effect. So you don't stack powers on top of cleave. Just like I just cleaved, I can't grapple with that cleave as well, because the cleave itself is the effect, granting you ability, as opposed to, like, say, goading strike. Goading strike is I hit you, now I deal extra damage, and you have disadvantage to attack anybody else. Instead of goading strike, I'm going to use cleave, which is I hit that guy, and now, so if you hit a creature with a melee attack, see, if I hit you, I trigger a strike effect. The cleave strike effect is no extra damage, but I get to hit that other guy. I get to make an attack against that guy as well. And me attacking that other guy is the effect that you get from the strike power. Hopefully that makes sense. So you don't stack strikes and Like I could cleave and then what, cleave again, and then what, cleave again, and then what, cleave again. That's too much power that you're gaining for free. So like that's an instance of that limitation there. So I want to charge and hit 2 suckers. Yeah, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Absolutely can do that. That is great. Cleave. There's a lot of words, but we're going to add them all. Now that's a perfect use of cleave. And that's the wrong color. So let's go over here. And that's a great action sequence too, man. You get it. You totally get it. So those are the only modifications that we need to make to this character. So did you like slashing and slashing damage and the slasher feat, or did you want to swap those for something else? Because I'm just throwing those in there because they made sense. Being able to use slasher feat all the time is useful. Being able to pick up slashing damage as a power to implement that is useful. But if you don't like that, we can ditch it. Great Weapon Master. So did you want to have? Did you want to get rid of slashing damage and implement Great Weapon Master instead? I'm sorry, I was ignoring you. I didn't mean to. And I think you have, I mean, I can swap it out for you if you want. If you want to do it yourself, you have access to the character sheet as well. I can just hit save. Sorry, I did not mean to neglect you there. I was kind of on a roll. I'm going to hit save for now and go into save it. I like him. Yeah. You can change out your character if you understand what you're doing and you feel proficient with it. You can just swap stuff out, and obviously you have access to the character sheet. So I'm glad we were able to get through that. Let's go back to the Battle Master that we're playing with, since we're getting rid of efficient powers. Let's mess around with this. We still have 20 some odd minutes that we're playing with online here. So let's see. Quick investigate. That's a good. That's you can search or study as a bonus action. We made that efficient, but we're going to remove that efficiency. Quick interaction. You can use influence or study as a bonus action. That's probably not going to be very useful during combat, though there are certainly instances where it could. It's not necessarily something that you need to have happen. Coordinated attack, which is a maneuver. And Battle Master is coordinated attack. You can empower one ally that you can see or hear to use their reaction to make an attack, rolling 1d8, adding the result of the attack against a target you and your ally can see. So that's really useful. In the Battle Master subclass, it would cost you a superiority die to do that, and the mana that we spend is replacing superiority dice. Some things require power dice, which are the same as superiority dice. So we're going to get rid of coordinated attack as an efficient power. The Battle Master also gets Anticipate, which is as a reaction to when a creature within range of your weapon attack that you can see makes an attack. Before they roll, you can make an attack against them, potentially killing them before they execute the attack. It's a reaction to do so, so you can only do it once per turn, but it's super useful. But we're going to remove the efficiency. So that frees up 1, 2, 3. Jesus, 4 powers just got freed up on the Battle Master. So let's see. My foot's caught. And my blanket. There we go. Let's save that real quick and push it out of the way. Punchy the Punch Fighter. This is also a barbarian. Oh no, Punchy the Punch Fighter is a... Jesus, who's using Punchy? Who was using Punchy? Oh, was that Nick that was using them? Well, I'm going to rebuild him. Let's see. How do we want to rebuild? Punchy the Punch Fighter. So fun. Let's go down to the Battle Master. Bloop. And look at our stack of powers. Edit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that all feels good. Skilled and skilled and skilled. Battlemaster you get a lot of skilled with the Battlemasters. It's a little crazy. Well, Azorius Senate gives you a lot of skilled, and Human gives you skilled, and Battlemaster gives you skilled. So your character gets a shitload of skills. It's actually a really good subclass to take. So we're looking at freebie stuff. Let's move the Azorius Senate to the top of the list here, and we'll move Battlemaster to the top of the list here, and Battlemaster to the top of the list here. Now we have four powers that we can add on. Jeebus. Let's see. We get Push Mastery and the Topple Mastery. We got the Protection Feat. What is some other juiciness that we want to add on to this guy? Let's see. We get Push, Topple. Slow doesn't feel like how Punchy likes to work. I don't know if Nick's going to be around today or not. So I don't think Nick's around today, so it probably doesn't matter. Let's see. Well, shit, let's just load him up on feats. Alert. When in doubt, give him a feat. Alert. Alert. Cool. Free rules, initiative proficiency. When you're initiative, you add your proficiency bonus, and initiative swap. Immediately after you roll initiative, you can swap your initiative with the initiative of one willing ally in the same combat. You can't make this swap if your ally has the incapacitated condition. Oh, that's fair. Initiative. +3. There. Let's see. Initiative. And let's see what kind of weapons are you using there, buddy? Longsword with Vex. Aspiring. Ooh. Nope. Non-combatant, Poisoner, Polearm Master, Power Initiates. Gives you an extra power. We don't need that right now. Ooh, Sentinel's good. I'm pretty sure Sentinel's a good one. Sentinel. Feat. Immediately after a creature within 5 feet of you takes a disengage action or hits a target other than you with an attack, you can make an opportunity attack against that creature. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the speed drops to 0. For the rest of the turn, after you hit with an opportunity attack. There you go. Copy. That's actually really good. Takes a disengage action. You shut down their movement. Nope. Hit the nope button. Sentinel. Feat. So nasty. Wait, feat. Yeah. Sentinel. Feat. It's supposed to be like that. Equals. 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 There. And so Sentinel's super useful. Let's see what else we got. Slasher, speedy, telekinetic. Let's go with telepathic. Just for the lulz. It's an Azorius Senate character. Azorius Senate has mind police. They actually have thought. They actually have literal thought police that if you're thinking the wrong ideas, they can arrest you in certain areas in Ravnica. So having telepathy actually makes a ton of sense for an Azorius character. It also makes a ton of sense for Dimir because they don't like to give away that they're talking to people. Telepathic utterance. You can speak telepathically to any creature that you can see within 60 feet of yourself. Your telepathic utterance is in a language that you can see the creature understands only if it knows that language. Your communication doesn't give the creature the ability to respond to you telepathically. Detect thoughts. You always have the detect thought spell prepared. Jesus. You can cast it without a spell slot or spell components, and you must finish a long rest before you can cast it this way again. You can also cast it using spell slots you have of the appropriate level. Your spell casting ability modifier is his ability increases the feats. Second is the second level spell, so it costs 2 mana to use, but you can't technically use it until your 5th level when you have access to second rank powers. But yeah, it's literally thought police. So I freaking love that. For Azorius Senate, it's perfect. So telepathic feat equals telepathic utterance equals you can speak to creatures, they can't speak back to you. Detect thoughts equals you can cast it without a spell slot. You can cast it without mana or spell components. And you must finish a long rest before you can cast it again this way. You can also cast it using 2 mana. Starting at 5th level. Your spellcasting ability for the spell is the ability. Your spellcasting ability is your channeling ability strength. DC 5, 15. No, 13. Wait. 3. Yeah, 13. And one more to go. Blind fighting kind of goes with the telepathy. I kind of like that. But let's see. We have alert, sentinel, telepathic. We have the protection feat already, which is a creature that you can see attacks a target other than you within 5 feet. You can take your reaction to interpose your shield. If you're holding one, you impose disadvantages on the triggering attack and all other attacks against that target until the start of your next turn if you remain within 5 feet. You have push and topple. Let's go with hold on. Yeah, let's look at dueling real quick because that might give us an edge that we want. When you're holding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapon, you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls to that weapon. So, and checking the character real quick, I think they're a sword and board. Yep. So, yeah. Dueling is a great option. Come on, Kearney, what's going on? There you go, buddy. Jesus, that juice. Dueling. feet equals +2 damage. So it's a +5, D8 +5 damage. There you go. Protection, push, topple. Save. All right, there's that. Let's look at Punchy the Punch Fighter real quick. Protection, push. Good, good, good. Let's go back in here real fast to Battlemaster. And everything above protection we add. There we go. The +5, and then initiative +3. Save changes. And okay, cool. So those are updated, and let's look at the Thief, our last one to work with. Subtle channeling is currently free. Let's edit this. Subtle channeling is expensive. And then Vanish. Vanish is potentially overtuned at first level if we were to make it efficient. I can see that. It allows you to become invisible for a turn, so you get advantage and enemies get disadvantage. That's double dipping for a point that becomes free. That might be just too good. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We get rid of that. So we get two things we get freed up for the rogue. Subtle channeling. Vanish we get for free. Skulker is a feat that we get for free, and Trap Springer is a sustained power that we get for free. You know what? Honestly, I feel like, and then maneuver. Let's go with Sus 1 is another sustained power. It's because it's a rogue and it makes sense. We have Trap Springer already, which is while the power is sustained, you can search as a bonus action. You gain advantage on any intelligence, wisdom, perception checks to notice traps. You automatically understand the general nature of any trap revealed this way, and you gain advantage on intelligence or dexterity checks using tools you're proficient with to disarm traps. But we could also pick up empowered ability, which is while sustaining this power, choose one ability score. You have advantage when rolling checks and saves for the chosen ability. That's really good. Kicker, while this power is sustained, you can roll one power die per mana expended this way up to your max channel limit, adding the highest roll to the result of the ability check or the save. So 1 point to turn it on, and one or more, and at this level, 1 point to basically add a power die to your ability check or your saving throw. The saving throw is where the value is at in this. You have to turn off Trap Springer to turn this on. So currently they contrast each other. They get in each other's way. But at 5th level, they actually work together incredibly well. So let's go with Empowered Ability while you sustain this power. Kicker. And then we're going to add the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. Powered. So you can basically give yourself, you can spend a point of mana and turn this thing on. Right now it's the only thing that you can do, but when you do, choose an ability score, you gain proficiency in saving throws against that, which could be really useful. And you can turn this on as an action or as a bonus action. It's like if you realize, oh, we're fighting a Lithid, they're going to Mind Blast us, then you could turn on Empowered Ability to give yourself proficiency in Wisdom saving throws, which a rogue normally doesn't have. So that's a really useful ability. We have 2 more things that we get. So let's take a look at what else is going on. It just feels rogue-like to be able to cheat the system like that. So I like that. Step. Step is a really useful mastery. So let's grab that. Burp, burp, burp. All right, that's my timer. So I'm just going to finish this up. I said I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to bounce off screen. And then I'll just be flying casual on the Discord voice channel. We might have more than 5 players today, so I'm going to just make it first come, first serve, just to be fair about it. The 6 people that have raised their hand saying that they're interested, those are our official roster. Of those 6, whichever 5 show up first, those will be the people that we take onto the adventure today. So let's see. Bonus attack. Bonus. Oh yeah. Mastery is step equals, and the way that step works, I like step. It's cool. Step. You hit a target, you can move 5 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. Let's see. Let's look at Sentinel again real quick. Immediately after a creature within 5 feet of you takes a disengage action, which we didn't, or hits a target other than you with an attack, you can make an opportunity attack against that creature. And then halt. Speed becomes 0. So if they disengage, your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks for the rest of the turn. So you have to trigger. After within 5 feet, it takes the disengage action. You shut that down, and you can make an opportunity attack against them. Or if they, other than you, with an attack. Great. Okay, so this doesn't contrast that at all. That was important for us to verify if that broke or not. But step is whenever you hit a creature, you can take a 5-foot step without provoking opportunity attacks. So there you go. Pretty useful, especially for a rogue. And let's see. Last word. What's the last thing we want to do? I like step a lot. Is there another feat that we could pick up? Chef, crossbow expert, crusher, defensive duelist, grappler, great weapon master, spiral leader, power poisoner, piercing. Do we have damage ramping? Skulker, vanish, subtle channeling, sustained. No, we don't have any strike powers, so let's pick up a strike power just to have one. You get the ramping damage with the sneak attack. Your weapon deals extra damage equal to 1 power die per mana expended this way, and the next roll against the target has advantage if the attack is made before the start of the turn. That's a your weapon deals cold damage, and the creature's movement is reduced by half until the end of its next turn. That's not horrible. Martial strike. Yeah, repositioning strike. Repositioning strike is just like step. Deal extra damage, move 5 feet. Don't think you need that. The creature is restrained by magical tethers. Yeah, restraining strike looks good. Restraining strike equals. This might actually be overtuned at first rank, but we'll see. Increases by 1 power die. Creature is restrained and can end the effect with a successful save. If you're large or bigger, then it's better. So let's go. Let's look at the restrain condition real quick. Let's remind ourselves what restrain does. Zero speed, advantage, disadvantage on dex saves, and your attack rolls have disadvantage. Advantage, disadvantage. Yeah, that's pretty strong. We might end up bumping that to second rank instead of first. We'll see. We'll see. But for now, it's let's look at. Before I get too up in arms about that, let's look at ensnaring. Strike. First level spell costs 1 mana. Costs a bonus action to use, so you can use it once. So that's an effect. As you hit the target, grasping vines appear. You are restrained condition. It also requires concentration for up to a minute. Successful save breaks the vines. And it takes ongoing d6 piercing damage at the start of each of its turns. If I increase the damage, it deals an extra d6 as well, which is in line with our scaling for the powers. When you reach it, you can take the action to make a strength saving throw to end it. Bonus action, concentration, 1 mana, same damage. Ours is 1 mana on strike effect, no bonus action. But the same conditions, no extra damage. The extra damage, does that counteract the concentration effect? Yes. Does the extra damage counteract the bonus action that takes into account to lessen the cost? No, it doesn't. So we probably are going to end up increasing snaring strike to 1. Probably going to increase it to rank 2. So I'm going to put a highlight on that. Potential increase to rank 2. Comment. And let's go up to Vanish. Vanish could also potentially need to be upgraded. Comment. Potential increase to second. I suspect the answer is yes. All right. Hey, it's just past 8 o'clock. I'm going to bounce out of here. I'm going to do some off-screen prep work for DMing. I will be on my Discord and the voice chat. Be welcome to shout at me there. Anyone that thinks this stuff is interesting, access to my Discord channel is open to everybody. You can access the Discord community here. I can have up to 5 playtesters in a single session. I can't handle more than 5 people at a time. So it's going to pretty much be whoever raises a hand saying I'm interested in playing, and then it'll be basically first 5. We already have a roster of 6 people that said that they're interested in playing. So it's basically going to be the first 5 that show up at 9:30, which is an hour and a half from now. The first 5 that show up are going to have seats. There you go. So if you're squeezing your way in, you didn't raise your hand previously, if only 4 people show up and you're interested in playing, but you weren't already on the raised hand list that we have on my Discord, you will have to wait to see if 5 people show up. If they don't, then you can fill in that 5th seat. By the way, we're staying only with the martial power characters right now. I'm thinking by the time we get to 7th level, we'll start introducing full casters back into the mix to have them interact with each other, just to see how that plays. So, but for now, we're sticking just with the martial characters, although Artificer and Warlock are options that you can pick there. So anyway, I'm going to bounce out of here for now. I'm going to be on my Discord. I'll be done basically with streaming for the weekend. I'll be back on Monday. Monday is a holiday for Phil, so I will have the opportunity to work for... I'll keep my normal schedule of basically showing up in the morning to do artwork. We're going to continue doing that. We'll have maybe 3 hours of session that we can run. And then I'll log out in like around my normal lunchtime shift that I would start doing design streams on Monday. We'll continue with the Bastion campaign system. We'll start at 1 o'clock and we'll see how long I can last. Monday nights is a normal stream night for me, so I could just roll from 1 o'clock all the way till 9 o'clock. I seriously doubt I'm going to spend 8 hours on stream on Monday afternoon, but technically there's no reason why I couldn't. So we'll see how it lasts. But I'll see you guys. I'll see some of you guys on Discord server today. Anyone else, be welcome to like, subscribe, check out my books, jump into the Discord, say hey. I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot.